This is Alex with an I.
And this is Jess Cans.
And you're listening to Inside the Makeup Bag,
where we remove the makeup,
cut the filter,
and expose the naked truth
about the beauty industry.
Let's get into it.
Zip! Welcome to episode 4. I'm so excited. We are finally on camera.
Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah, you look good on camera.
So do you. Well, I don't know. I mean, we look good in person, but I don't know how we look in camera. So hopefully I don't look 10 pounds heavier. Okay, so I had a lot of anxiety actually before we started about today. This was like a big deal for me.
Yeah.
You know, so
I think
I'm
you
glad
look
we're
great.
doing this, babe.
I mentioned earlier, it's funny, you are in bright colors.
Oh, yeah, and you're neutrally neutrals. You know, we are what we say we were before you've seen us. Alex is neutral. She fades in, and I'm bright.
Sticks out like a sore thumb.
Okay. So, before we get into it, let's do what the episode's about.
Yeah.
Okay.
So today we are really excited because we are going to be talking about the pros and cons of working in retail cosmetics. Specifically, I mean, the beauty industry, of course, we've worked in, but retail cosmetics specifically is very different from other realms of the beauty industry. So we thought we'd give you the inside scoop.
Inside. The Counter Chronicles coming at you live.
Yeah. But first,
yes,
we have to do our this or that rapid fire.
Rapid fire. We still need a good name for this.
We do.
Please weigh in, peeps.
Please help us. You guys comment on everything else, but we need a name for our rapid fire beauty edition. Unless maybe they love it.
They don't love it.
Okay.
We don't love it. They don't love it. Okay. Let me go first because I thought of this question after we taped our last one. So it's been on my brain.
Okay.
It's a good one. Skincare related.
Okay.
Would you rather use liquid peel, like colic, AHA, BHA, liquid that you got to rinse off, or a peel pad?
Ooh. I know what you're going to say, but I'm going to say liquid.
Liquid?
Liquid, like
What
pour
am
on
I
a
gonna
cotton
say?
pad, swatch around a peel pad.
100%.
Yeah.
Okay, but I do like the liquid. I think the liquid peels work better, but I'm lazy and I will not leave it on. And I will not do it 10 minutes out of my time. I'm so busy playing Pokemon right now.
I feel I'm busy playing Monopoly Go, but I feel like with the liquid ones that you put on a cotton pad, you don't necessarily have to rinse them off.
No, like I'm talking about the peels that you do have to wash off.
Oh, like a peel mask.
Like a peel mask, yeah.
Pad.
Okay.
I changed my answer.
Shoot.
Okay.
As per usual. Like literally anytime gun to the head, you would be dead. Just so you know, life or death situation, bang, you're dead.
Dead.
Sad.
Dead on the floor. I know.
Okay.
Whatever.
Go.
I'm an indecisive person. Okay. Speaking of indecisive, I couldn't even decide what I wanted to ask you today. But mascara or brows?
Well, my brows are nano-bladed. Thanks, Paula. Mascara. 100%.
I mean, same. But I think if you didn't have brows nano-bladed,
Mascara.
Still the same answer?
100%.
Okay. I think for me, it's obvious mascara over brows because I have
bushy brows.
But what about you guys? Comment and let us know.
Yeah.
Mascara or brows? I feel like those are two that people like won't leave the house with. Out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It would be mascara for me. Mascara and
Same.
concealer. If I had to only choose one thing, concealer. But that's not the question.
Yeah,
that's
I know.
Neither here nor
I almost
there.
asked you concealer or mascara, but I was like, let me not.
You're kidding.
Make her
I have to
life
hide these bags. This is a
difficult.
process.
Okay. Now that we are warmed up and loosey-goosey, let's get into the actual meat and potatoes of the episode.
Yeah. The Counter Chronicles.
Counter Chronicles. So we have both been in the industry for such a long time. Obviously, we love it.
The industry. I birthed it.
Birthed it. I gave birth to it. It was in my womb. Obviously, we love it. Obviously, we love it. So I do want to start off with like why we love it, the pros.
Right.
What are the pros of working in the industry before we talk shit about it? Because let's be honest,
Okay.
we are going to talk shit about it.
I definitely have to say I used to waitress before. I wanted to be a makeup artist and everything like that. And you make a lot of money waitressing. And I do have to say, moving from like a waitressing pay, it's very well paid. The beauty industry, you're not starting off at the bottom of the barrel. If you work in retail, you get a decent price. Of course, if you do it like freelance, you build up your price, but I think pay.
I agree. I think aside from working, what's it called? High-end retail, like Louis Vuitton and all the name brands. Oh, there's a name for it. High-end, not high-end.
No, it's higher than high-end. It's luxury.
Luxury, thank you. I feel like aside from working luxury retail, cosmetic retail jobs pay the best. You don't start off at minimum wage ever, and you're always or almost always at a hourly plus a commission, right? And then if you're a counter manager, you're a commission plus an override commission of everybody that works under you. So what that means is you get a percentage off of everything you sell, but then you also get a percentage off of everything that your team underneath you sells. It's a small percentage. It's very small, but we all know women and men and everybody breaks the bank on cosmetic products, and some of them are upwards of $1,000. So that small percentage really pays out. The commission checks were really good.
This is not the category for it, but we definitely have to talk about those commission fights.
Yes, we will.
But also to, just say that to say this, that working retail department stores pay well.
Yes.
Now, if you're working at a box store, like, not department, like, so an Ulta, Sephora, you are going to get paid, but you're not going to make commission.
Yeah.
And I always tell people, if you're super talented, go to become a counter manager and work up your ladder. That way, if you want to go management, because sometimes it's easier to step outside where you were beginning at to like grow. So
yeah, and I will say the growth there are routes, right, to grow, whether you work at a Sephora and Ulta, because you can jump over to freelance for a brand, and then from freelance you can really work up the brand ladder. But there's also a great growth pattern when you're at a department store, because you have the route of growing with the department store and or growing with your brand. And I would say 9 times out of 10, I would choose growing with the brand because it pays way better. Cosmetic brands pay really well. Once you get out of that counter, once you get into the actual corporate level, the pay is amazing, and you don't have to have an education. You can't ask for anything better than that. And you get, most of the time, you have a really good work-life balance, unless you're a psycho and like married to your job. But that's a choice. Most companies value work-life balance, I would say, in the cosmetic industry. I'd say I've had both, but more times than not, I've had companies that are like, take your time off. Holidays. Oh my gosh, holidays, the time off. Like, it's great.
So what's something else you like?
I obviously the gratis.
Yes, I love getting free product, and I feel that we always get so much free product in the industry through vendors. If you work for a retail like chain, you get it through the company, like watching videos and training. But like being in the industry, you're constantly getting free product.
Yeah.
All the time.
All the time. And even if you get the free shit that you don't want, you trade.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I have all of this. I've given all my friends and family who aren't in the industry, no. I'm like, please take it. They're like, it feels so bad. I'm like, I do not have room in my closet. Please take it. So the gratis for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know. Also the friends.
Yeah.
Like Jessica.
I know, we really did.
Yeah.
That's cosmetics. Most of my friends living in LA are from the cosmetic industry.
Yeah, same.
When you grow up, where you're from, you're your friends in elementary school. But now all of my friends are all in the cosmetic industry.
Same. Like, how else do you meet people?
Exactly.
And you have, your
common ground.
I was going to say common ground too.
You have things about the same stuff.
Yeah, you have the same problems.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's nice. I also love the networking piece. Like I said, it's kind of like making friends, but you also get really great clientele. So if you do want to build your business outside of retail cosmetics, what better way than to help the customers? Yeah. So that's a great way to build. I don't know. What else?
I think that a pro is like being the cool family member. Like I am beauty. No, but
Yeah.
I put them onto stuff. I hook them up with stuff.
Yeah.
So much so, a little quick story. My sister in Florida calls me up and it says, Jess, do you know what color foundation I am in the Tarte concealer? And I was like, what?
Like on the phone, like as if you're just a
I
magician.
was like, yeah. I was like, no. She's like, you helped me to get it, I guess, like years ago.
Oh my God.
I was like, yeah, no idea.
You're
but,
like, yeah, I have a Rolodex of your.
Yeah, but I appreciate that, like, being cool in that aspect, you know?
Yeah. Sometimes I hate it.
Yeah.
And this is not to tell my like family and friends not to ask me for help,
Yeah,
but
right.
sometimes I'm like, I really don't have the time. I actually don't know. Like it's so difficult. I'd rather you call me on FaceTime when you're in the store and I'll just tell you which one's the right one.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because as much information is floating around in my head, I don't always know every single color of each brand, even though I try to. I think we try to. But yeah, you're definitely the cool family member. Everyone thinks the job is like so cool. I'm like, if only you knew.
You know what else I like? And I know this is a compliment when people say it. When people are like, oh my God, obviously like not the way my hair looks right now, but they'll be like, oh my God, do you do hair? And I'm like, no, but thank you. I know what you mean. You think I look put together because you know how like hairstylists, they just have that like image,
look.
you know?
Yeah.
So when people are like, oh my God, are you a hairstylist? I'm like, thank you.
Oh
No.
my God.
But like,
no one's
you know,
ever asked you that.
Yes, they have. This is what I mean. Typical
Whatever.
hater.
Okay.
No one ever said that to you?
No, I mean my hair's wild. No, I don't do anything. Like you have straight hair, it's pretty. Like it's always shiny.
No, but it's not. Hairdressers' hairs are always the worst.
Yeah, it is usually a
It's
mess.
the face. It's
That's
the
true.
put-togetherness.
Okay. But I think cosmetic girls, I would say, do you work in cosmetics?
Yeah, but regular.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I think that's a
look
good,
cool.
Yeah, you know? Like cool.
Okay. I mean, you guys get it. We love it.
Mm-hmm. I got it on my arm.
I will say one more thing that because when we go into cons, I am going to talk a little bit of shit about the clientele and the customers a little bit, but I want to give them.
If you're her clientele, pay attention.
No, my personal clients are amazing, but I do want to give them praise a little bit. So there are really sweet customers out there. Like I've made some amazing clients from being customers inside of retail cosmetics, whether it was when I worked at MAC 12 years ago or when I was at the boutique at NARS 8 years ago or 6 years ago, something like that, whatever.
Yeah.
Time doesn't exist anymore.
Time
But
keeps on slipping.
I feel like I would see, I've never had this happen, but I've heard other people like their clients would come bring them like homemade cookies or meals that when they like around the holidays, gift cards, they'd be like, I have to bring it to my, person that makes me spend all my fucking money. I'm like, what? Like we have them hypnotized. Like they love us so much. We find the things that make them feel and look pretty.
Yeah.
So when they're shopping for holidays, they're like, I got to get something for Alex at Nordstrom, or I got to get something for Jess. I mean, I think
no one's ever got me anything, but if you want to.
I think the most I've ever gotten was like a cup of coffee. But my best friend, she got a Michael Kors bag once when she was working at Macy's.
Oh my God.
I know.
Maybe I should have been nicer.
Seriously. Yeah, I think we're just not nice enough.
I'm like, I do my job. I do it well. I help you out. I feel good about it. But I'm not over here shooting the shit, getting to know you.
Yeah.
Getting to know you. Okay, let's get into the juice.
Okay,
the good part,
come on. You guys really
chisme.
you guys want to know what we don't like about it because this is the fun part.
Let me get the list.
It rolls out.
Yeah.
I'm going to start easy. The schedule.
Mm-hmm.
When you're at counter. When you're in corporate cosmetics, it's chef's kiss for the most part.
Depending where you land in corporate.
Yes, exactly. But at counter specifically.
Yeah, when you're the bitch on the floor, you are the bitch on the floor.
Yes. I used to work at Macy's back in the day. And during like Black Friday, I had to be there at like 11:45 p.m. for the next day's shift.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, no, you can't just, no.
The worst though. The worst. Blackout dates. Hands down.
Yeah.
Nordstrom. Congratulations, you win for the most blackout dates. Holiday.
Yeah.
So holiday is November to December.
Yep.
Then we have anniversary sale, which is all of July. Yeah. Then you can't take off for all of those special winter, whatever, winterize your skin, whatever they change the shit to. And in like literally you could take off 6 months total.
Yeah.
Through sporadic, like
Yeah.
the worst.
I mean, I think it
Great
was
pay.
even worse for
Cosmetics.
managers, though, too.
Mm-hmm,
Like
we had
the floor
triple.
managers. Yeah.
Because we had triple points with a whole store, but then we had the special cosmetic stuff on top.
That's happening right now, actually. It's triple points at Nordstrom, but it's 5 times the points in cosmetics.
So they don't get off.
Exactly.
Congratulations.
And they work like 12 hours and they're like, we're salary. Like one of the managers was in the back eating her lunch. And I was like, are you on lunch? You better clock out. She was like, I don't clock out. I was like, okay, just working through your lunch. I'm like, they don't care about you that much, honey. You better go sit outside.
I take my time.
Yes, me too.
My time I work for.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Let's get into something else. What else do you
not like?
Yeah.
The customer is always right. How many times have you bit your tongue? Like,
not many. I never bite my tongue.
Yeah, no shit, you. But me, like, if we were not here right now, if I was not working, but you know me, if I'm somewhere else and a customer is being an asshole to me.
Oh my God. You were thinking of the 99 cents only store? That will never, I swear. Let me just sidebar. We're in the 99 cents only store in Hollywood, so paint the picture. And someone was being mean to the cashier. And Alex literally, I don't even know exactly what she said, but she's like, excuse me? Like, she's just working here. You need to calm down. And I'm like, oh my God, we're in like this shiesty 99 cents only store. Like, and she's like telling this customer off. And I'm just like sitting there, like, I'm glad you stood up for her. But like, I think the level that you stood up to her for was like way more than you had to. I think you were like overcompensating for your PTSD.
Yeah. I was pissed because I can't say that shit to clients when they're talking to me, when customers are talking to me. So I was like, I know she wants to say something, so I'm going to fucking say something for her. And that's not the first time that happened. I've done that. I had done that other times at that time. Around that time, I was clearly angry. Yeah. Because they just make you take it. You're just like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry you felt that way. I'm sorry. Yes, I'll take this back. I'm sorry.
So I just professionally tell them no. Like, I will professionally bounce them right the hell out. Like, no problem. I will. And then if like they ever called and complained on me, you couldn't, because I was so by the books, but I professionally shut you down. So
I just feel like for me, the only reason I didn't care is at the end of the day, it's not my money. It's not my product. I don't give a shit. Like, here, I'll take it back.
But it was my goal.
Yes, I get it.
It was my commission. Yes. It was my goal I wasn't making because you are an asshole.
Yeah. Speaking of.
But you can return, but don't be a jerk.
Yeah. People would do crazy things. I guess that's a good segue. I want to talk about the crazy returns. So at Nordstrom, you can return anything, anytime, anywhere. Like, they teach you the story when you start working there that they returned a tire once because the building used to be a tire company, whatever. Great. So they stood by that for a long time. I know it's kind of changed since, but when we were working there, it was you take back anything, anytime, no matter what, even if it's used. And there's skincare products that are around $1,000, $500, like La Mer, and people would come back. Yeah, people would come, scoop it out, like buy it, scoop it out into whatever they have at home, and then refill it with Nivea because Nivea's thick like La Mer.
Or mayonnaise.
You could smell it.
I've seen mayonnaise come back in the Chanel Supplément.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And they would just get something that's like a similar texture, and you're like opening, you're like, I can smell this.
Yeah, I wouldn't return it. No.
But we would.
Yeah, I was the manager in New York. I wasn't the manager here, like in California, but they knew, like, I was the regulator. I came out and I was like, no, this is not the product. And then this one time, customers literally dropped something and it broke and they were trying to return. It was like an expensive foundation. And I was like, yeah, so that's not our problem that you broke it. I said, it's not a default in the product or a dislike that you like it. You negligently, is that a word?
You were negligent with the product?
You're negligent. And she's like, this is Nordstrom's. And I said, well, it's a case-by-case scenario. And in this case, and in this scenario, we are not liable for your mistake. And she walked off pissed, but it's the truth. I'm not having you return.
I'd be pissed. I would have taken it back. I would have been like, I understand. Like, that sucks.
Because I have to have I have to help my people. Like those are my team members.
I get it. Yeah, it's their commission, blah, blah, blah. And people are psycho about their commission.
Would you ever return a foundation that you dropped on the floor?
Yeah, I would try. If I just bought it, if I just walked out and I just bought it and it was $78, I'd be like, I know I'm the asshole.
No.
Can you please, or whatever. If it's within a couple of days, I'd be so upset.
Maybe, but it wasn't a couple of days. It was like a month.
Oh, yeah, no. Then I wouldn't have the balls. I might have the balls to ask, but no, probably not.
I was a regulator for sure. I don't care. Even when I worked at Ulta, I was like, no, professionally. I will professionally curb you. But yeah.
Trying to protect that commission,
which is actually, speaking of my team members, let me tell you something that happened to one of my team members while I was manager. There was like this thing that came out and people would be like, your nipple color is the color of your perfect nude lipstick.
Yes.
So one of my team members was there helping a customer, and she said the customer was like, oh, I heard your nipple is a perfect nude color. And she's like, okay. And the lady in the middle of Ulta whipped out her nipple. And was like, help me. I felt so bad for my team member. I was like, you never have to deal with that. You could just walk away. I would have your back. Are you okay? Do you need to? Wow, it's not Whip It Out Wednesday,
Maybe it was. And you worked at Ulta in Topanga, which is like porn city. Mm-hmm. I used to do a bunch of porn stars when I worked at MAC at Nordstrom Topanga.
You did porn stars, or no? Just kidding.
I did porn stars makeup.
Yeah.
makeup.
Porn stars.
It's a big porn
area.
They film a lot of porn over there.
Just whip
Maybe
it out.
that's what that was.
Yeah, that was a crazy story. Not happened to me, but she came like running to the back afterwards, and I was like,
"You're like, run the tapes."
I know. I was like, "Are you okay? Your poor little virgin eyes." Like she was so innocent.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Any other crazy stories that you have?
You know what? We had this weirdo that would steal all the pink lipsticks when I worked at MAC.
What?
Yeah, and she would come by and she would do it like a drive-by. She would either just grab a tissue and like rip it off, like she wouldn't take the full tube. She would rip off just the top of the lipstick in a napkin. And sometimes she would put it in her mouth. And then other times she would just come by and bite it off in her mouth and like go. Those could be two different people, but there was like a pink lipstick thief. And I was like, that's so funny. And we would walk by and it's all ripped off. We're like, the pink lipstick. She struck again. That
is disgusting.
Yeah, it's really weird.
Especially if you're going to put it in your mouth.
Yeah, it's just
Don't
weird.
even get me started about those testers.
No. Herps, McGurps all over your. You know what? One time, this little girl, and I'm usually really nice with kids when they're playing with, but this little girl was playing with the testers at Nordstrom, and she was putting it on her face. And I was like, "Oh, you need to be careful with those. Those have diseases and germs all over it." She put it down so fast. I mean, she was like 7 or 6. She put it down so fast. She was terrified. Okay. And I was like, but it's true. Like, you know what I mean? She was putting like the lipsticks all. Yeah. I was like, no, I don't want this poor little girl to get herpes right now because she just thought it was pretty.
Yeah, I know.
But I scared the shit out of her. I was like, sorry.
Speaking of little girls, this is nothing to do with cosmetics, but I happen in cosmetics. I'm helping a customer in one aisle and I hear water dripping and I'm like, what the heck? And I go to the next aisle thinking like something's coming from the ceiling. No, this little girl is just standing there peeing on the floor while her mom is like shopping. I was like, okay, like literally just peed. I was like, wow, this is a new one for the cosmetic.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I couldn't believe it. I mean, like, the poor girl, like, she probably had to pee so bad. And the mom is just, like, so in the zone.
Yeah,
but
sometimes, like, I need my foundation.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, my God. I got paper towels. Like, I didn't know what to do. I was like,
at Sephora, they have this stuff that, like, I think it might be kitty litter or something similar. It's a powder. You put it over, throw up, like, any liquids. And it just, like, turns into a dry powder. And then you dust it up. Ulta needs to invest, man.
I couldn't believe that.
That's pretty funny.
I mean, the girl was I felt bad, but I was also like, I'm the worst for awkward situations.
Oh, yeah, me too.
I laugh so hard.
Me
so
too.
I'm like trying to be the person to take charge, and I'm like fighting with myself, you know?
Yeah, it's hard. There was something else you wanted to talk about. We were talking about the pros, and you were like, let me not get into it until the cons, and it's commission. I think we have to talk about just a little bit
Okay, just a
about
little
how
touch.
crazy people get with
Oh,
commission.
Lordy McDorty. So, especially being assistant department manager for cosmetics, I had to be like a regulator a lot of time for this, and they would come in like ready to rip each other like head off over like
After they
a
just had coffee together.
$25 pencil.
Yeah, which okay, so commission is 0.3%.
No, it's
No,
3%.
3%. 0.3 is the override.
Oh, it used to be
0.03 or
0.5.
point something like that.
Yeah.
But it's 3%.
Right.
So $25, 3%. It's like you're talking about like $2,
Yeah.
$3. I'm not going to do the math right now. I'm not even going to stop to think about it. But it's not a lot.
It's like $6.
Oh, yeah.
But still $6.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's a coffee.
Like, and they would come in ready to fight, especially Nordstrom's, because Nordstrom's would, listen, I loved Nordstrom's, but they bred money-hungry people.
Hell yeah.
Because you got commission when you did so good in sales, you become a pace setter, which means your commission is even higher.
And you get 33% off.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So, like, you get $1 more. In cosmetics, you get a
$1 raise.
Pace setter raise,
yes.
depending one or two, and you get 33%. So there's so many incentives, and there was always like sharks or snakes, and they would come and steal your sale. It would get vicious on that sales floor.
For real. You'd be like, don't fuck with so-and-so. She's a snake.
Yeah.
She's a shark.
She'll come in, she'll shark your sale. Yeah.
Shark. She's a shark. Watch out for her. She's a shark. So when you would start in new like departments, you would like learn like, okay, who's like chill? Who will ring for you when you're on your lunch?
Who's steal that
Who's going to steal that shit? Like who can you trust? Who can you not trust?
Yes. Sharks. Sharks
like,
in the water.
Yeah. But then you're all friends when you're like,
like out after. So
yeah.
like when you get
then it's fine.
The E-bar.
Yeah, then you're at the E-bar and it's fine.
I lived at the E-bar.
Same. Oh, still my favorite coffee
I'll be like,
bar.
ooh, Nordstrom's E-bar?
Yeah.
Yes.
So delicious.
That's so funny. Yeah, commission is cray.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, you know what else too? When customers correct you because they seen it on YouTube
oh my God.
or TikTok now, right? Because like, I'll be like, do this and like anything. And they'll be like, oh, well, on YouTube. I'm like, okay, cool. Well, just so you know, I have my aesthetics license and I've also been in this industry for 20 years. But I'm so glad that you're going to listen to some random person on YouTube who's not looking at your face right now. But yeah,
sure.
YouTube
University is fucking the worst for me. So I understand kids watching it and coming in and thinking they know because I was the same. I'd be like, I need to have that. Like when I was younger, I watched Clueless, and in the beginning, she's putting on her brown lipstick with a lip brush. And I made my mom take me to Nordstrom actually, and I was like, I need a lip gloss with a brush. And they kept showing me ones with a doe foot, and I was like, no, not the spongy doe foot applicator, a brush. And they were like, no, it's actually probably a lipstick with a lip brush. And I was like, no, it's one product. I was like, I need this, and I knew I was right, and I had to have it. So I get that. However, it's for me, it's the older women that are like my age and older that come in and they're like, I saw this on TikTok. I saw this on Instagram. I watched this beauty influencer on YouTube.
Or my 10-year-old daughter.
My 10-year-old told me to get this. Yeah. I'm like, in what world is this for you?
Yeah.
Come on. But usually you can educate them in the moment. If it isn't, sometimes it's the right product for them. But if it isn't, usually you can tell them and they're like, oh, I didn't know. But the fact that they even came in thinking that this 17-year-old YouTuber would use the same products as your 40-year-old skin, like,
yeah,
come on.
And I just forgot what I was going to say about that. But yeah, it's just this, it's like,
it's wild.
It's crazy. Oh, or when they're like, when you're helping somebody who's more mature. Oh, honey, you have nothing to, I mean, you wouldn't understand. It's like so belittling. Would you tell a doctor?
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm like but this is my industry.
Yeah.
This is my life.
You're an expert.
Don't tell me I don't know because I'm not 60 years old.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I'm 40
understand.
and I'm 40. Don't I look good for that? Don't you want this?
Yeah, exactly. As my niece would do this.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, come on. I don't know. You know what other stupid shit that people say? And I have no chill. Like I tell them that it's stupid in my own way. But the other day, this is recently, I was at a PR event for Youth to the People, and this guy came up who was working the event. I think he was security. At the time, I didn't realize, but he came up and he was like, oh, looking at all the stuff. And he was like, what's the name of your brand? I'm like, it's written on the walls, literally. It's written on everything. It's written on every product. It's written on every wall in that space because it's a PR event for them. Like literally everything is branded. And I was like, youth to the people. You know, I'm like, okay, I'm going to be chill. Then he goes, yeah, I know a lot about cosmetics. I shop at Lush. And I was like, so you know about Lush. That's about it.
Yeah.
So then I ran into him later.
Shout out to Lush, though. Love their breath bombs.
Yeah,
I mean, that's the only thing I've tried from them.
No shade, but like,
yeah.
you don't know about cosmetics if you shop at Lush.
$100.
So I ran into him later. I go, oh, you're security. And he was like, yeah, I was genuinely asking you earlier. I was like, oh, no, I knew you were genuinely asking me. I just wasn't sure what you were working because you didn't know the name of the brand. It makes more sense. You're security. You're not like you're more about what's going on in the crowd, not like what you're working for. Although I'm sure they told him you're working security for a Youth to the People PR event, but who knows?
Maybe they just
not.
say PR event.
Right. So anyways, I go, here. I had a cleanser in my hand. I go, here, try this cleanser. He goes, oh, really? And then he starts like talking about his skincare and he goes, yeah, sometimes my skin burns like when I put the stuff on. And I was like, well, if you're using Lush, in my mind, I didn't say this. If you're using Lush, there's a lot of fragrance in it. You might be sensitive to Lush. And then or sensitive to fragrance.
Yeah.
And I said, this shouldn't make you burn. He was like, yeah, sometimes I'm in the sauna and I'll forget that I was wearing moisturizer and it starts to burn. And I was like, okay, that's a little weird. And then he goes, so I just want to make sure this isn't going to give me a sunburn, right? A sunburn. I literally go, no, only the sun can give you a sunburn. And he goes, oh, okay. And I was done. Another customer, I told her this eye cream had caffeine in it. And she was like, is that going to make me all jittery? And I was like, what?
No,
you're not drinking it. And also, it's such a low percentage. Like, you're not bathing in it.
Oh, give me the caffeine.
She was like, because I'm sensitive to coffee and caffeine, it makes me jittery. I go, you're fine. She goes, oh, I've always avoided eye creams with caffeine in it. I said, so you've avoided almost every eye cream out there? And I was like, you're fine.
Yeah,
so
that's
anyways,
crazy.
Just weird.
The last story I have to say that blew my mind was I was working for, I think, Cargo at the time, and I was in store helping this gentleman. And
Inside
it was like,
Kohl's?
Yes, Cargo. I was also at Ulta for one point at Cargo, but yes, inside Kohl's. And I was helping this guy. And he was like, oh, can you help me pick out some lipsticks? And he has a ring on his finger. So, like, obviously, like, yeah, of course. And he's like, yeah, I need to get, like, some really fun, like, vibrant, like, bright colors. And he was, like, an older man. I was like, yes, like, I want to be this woman. Like, she's probably older, rocking these bright colors.
Yes.
I pick out, like, 4 or 5 colors. And he's like, yes. And you know when you're in sales, men buy.
Yes.
And he just kept on saying yes. And I was like, yes, make this goal, baby. And I think he ended up getting like all the bright colors. So I think there was like 4 or 5. And I was like, oh my gosh. He's like, thank you so much. I'm like, oh, your wife is going to like love this as a gift. He's like, oh no, this isn't for my wife. This is for my mistress. My wife would never wear something this fun. I was like, I felt so terrible happily helping him give his mistress that he's cheating on his wife with a gift. I was devastated. I was like, I felt like a conspirator, whatever it's called.
Contributor.
Yeah.
You felt like you were contributing to the cheating.
Yeah.
Maybe she knew about it.
I don't know, but I literally.
Oh my God. What a turn. You're like.
I felt so bad. Like, I felt
like,
so
I'm taking these
bad.
back.
I know, like, give me this back.
Give me back my smiles. I will not be happy to help you.
It
Cheat on your wife, sir.
For sure. Yeah, sad. I felt devastated for his wife.
That's pretty funny.
What's your last name? I'll look you up. I'm just kidding.
Oh my gosh.
What's your most, if you were to think of your most memorable, like one moment in your
career? I have to say it. So because it just is it was such a big moment and it took up so much time. And I think that people would be curious on how these things actually affect the employees in the situation. So I was working at the NARS boutique on Melrose, RIP. I loved that store. best store of my life. And they had finally decided after years and years and years that they were going to go into China because they have a huge China like customer base, Chinese customer base, and they would always come overseas and shop here. So they finally made the decision, and Francois Nars had stood really strong because in China, they require testing on animals in order to sell in China. So that doesn't mean that the products that are manufactured outside get tested or anything like that. But once they enter China, they do what they will with it. And so then they lost their bunny, right? They lost the right to say that they're cruelty-free. And it pissed people off, right? We had a few people quit from the boutique actually for it. It pissed people off. And they gave us some statement, on how to address the customers with it and explain to them, like, this product is made on NARS products. You can literally see where they're made. It says made in the USA, made in Italy. So they're not made in China. So the products that you buy in the US are not tested on animals and things like that. But however, it's still, and I would tell that to customers and I would say, but I understand if you still don't feel comfortable with it because they've basically allowed it to happen in China, right? And we've been told that they're working on ways to stop that and all of that, but who knows, right? So at the moment, it was a big deal. And people were protesting outside of our boutique because it's the only place that just is NARS, right? And we had a total of 4. And I happened to be scheduled on all 4 days of those protests. And they were on Sundays. And the boutique was like very elegant and clean and echoey and had big glass doors. So they would stand outside and they would wear masks, like animal masks that looked like they were in the purge.
That's scary.
Yeah, actually really creepy. And I would just have to be there, And so for me, because I was there every single time, I learned their chant. That they would chant outside.
What is the chant? Please tell me the chant.
I can't remember the first 2 rhymes, but the last one is the one that just sits in my head and just lives in my head rent free. And so they'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, something, something, something more. 5, 6, 7, 8, something, 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 something.
Okay.
9, 10, 11, 12. NARS Cosmetics, go to hell. And it would vibrate
Echo.
in the thing. And I was just sitting there I don't blame you for protesting this. I am with you, but I have to work.
Yeah.
And so I'm just sitting there and you could hear it in the back and I would be doing stock in the back and I'd be like, 9, 10, 11, 12, NARS Cosmetics, go to hell. And my coworkers were laughing at me. And I'm like you, I'm awkward in awkward situations. So I would just be sitting there behind the register laughing, not because I think it's funny, but because I'm so uncomfortable.
Nervous laughter. That's what I've been
nervous
told.
laughter. And I was so uncomfortable. And people would try and sneak in with cameras. And we had to be like, no, I'm sorry. You can keep your protest on the sidewalk. You can't bring cameras in here. And one guy just snuck in and he had a camera hidden in his hat. And my coworker at the time was like, sir, I can see your camera in your hat. And he was
Oh my gosh.
he was like, oh, okay. And he would leave. And they were all very polite and nice, but they were screaming. Needless to say, nobody shopped on those days.
I bet.
But yeah, that has to be my most memorable.
I mean,
So
seriously. For me, my most memorable, not that you asked. You
didn't even give me a chance to ask, Jessica.
For me, my most memorable moment, I have to say it and not think about it because it brings me very emotion. I don't like feelings. Is I was a national artist at the time, still for Cargo, and I was helping this woman and her husband came in with her and she was going blind and I showed him how to do her makeup because when she goes blind, she wants to still make sure she looked good in photos. I can't even and I have never been touched so much in my life. To know that this man is learning how to do his wife's makeup because even though she can't see herself, she wants to make sure. And it wasn't even about how we talk sales. They didn't even buy anything. I literally gave him a free lesson, and it was the most memorable thing that ever. I felt at that moment I impacted somebody's life so much. So
yeah. Aw. I mean, I think that is something that I always feel it's just the beauty industry. Don't take it so serious, whatever. But there have been times when people are going through chemo and they're losing their hair and they just went through a breakup or a divorce and we become their therapists.
Yeah,
they tell us everything and we go through these emotions with them. And there have been times that they'll say like, oh, I haven't felt this beautiful in years, or they'll
Yeah.
cry in your chair. And it's like, okay, maybe I am doing something good for the world. 'Cause sometimes I kind of feel like I'm just wasting away. I'm not like making an impact, but it really does make an impact. And that's something amazing, you know, because she still wants to feel pretty and look pretty for him. And, you know, and when her grandkids look at pictures of her, you know, she doesn't want to look.
It was very sweet. And I feel like if I was going blind, Isaac would do the same thing for me.
That's very
Shout out,
cute.
babe.
Oh my God. The way, judging by the way Frankie did my makeup during COVID, never. It'll never.
I have a video Isaac did my makeup too, but we'll teach him. We'll set him with the makeup art. Hopefully I don't go blind. Okay, so I feel like we should talk about some things that might be going on, maybe in the industry, like current events or spill the foundation.
Yeah, so before we close out the show, we definitely have to spill the foundation.
Mm-hmm.
So go ahead, Jess. I know you have something.
Well, you know, I'm a big let's save money kind of person. So the fall haul is happening in Ulta. So what that is a lot of their mass or, you know, drugstore brands are going to be on sale for the next couple of weeks.
Oh, that's nice.
So definitely lashes. If you like Kiss lashes, they're usually part of the fall haul. So go check it out. It's happening actually now. So definitely check them out. And then it's really kind of it. I do have some like new products that came out that I'm obsessed with. The Smashbox foundation, I happen to really like it. It's more full coverage, but very beautiful on the skin.
Yeah, it's really nice. I worked the PR event for that foundation, and it worked on I did, I don't know, 30 people's foundation matches, and everybody had a foundation match. Like the color range was incredible, and it looked really pretty on different. I agree.
But do you have anything else?
There are a few new lines in Sephora that I just want to mention that I have not tried, but one of them is called Kulfi, Kulfi, and it's South Asia based.
Wait, is this really cool looking packaging?
It's this. It looks like Tower 28, but I feel like they're manufactured in the same place. It's like Tower 28. It's like exactly Tower 28's color, lavender. No, not that, but yes, that I'm going to talk about too.
I'm obsessed.
The packaging's cool. Yeah,
so cool.
Okay. No, it has like this orange and lavender packaging, just like Tower 28, which shout out Tower 28. It is one of my favorite clean beauty brands right now. I'm obsessed. But yeah, Kulfi. Then there's this other new brand called Ciele. I might be pronouncing that wrong. It's Ciele. I have no idea what the deal is with it, but I got to try it, of course, because why not? They have some foundations or some serum foundations, and it looks like a liquid blush. That's all that Sephora has. And then what Jessica was talking about is Simahazi Beauty. Simahazi Beauty. Simahaze Beauty. And it has the weirdest like 3D printed packaging.
So
it's really cool.
Obsessed with the packaging.
It's really cool. They have
if you go
like
to Sephora,
mini lipsticks, liquid or cream blushes.
Little,
yeah, everything's magnetic.
Mm-hmm.
It's like plastic. It literally, I think it's 3D printed.
It's
actually, is the deal.
The packaging is so awesome. So definitely check that out. I was playing with the products; it was pretty nice. But the packaging, I'm a sucker for packaging.
Yeah, the packaging's cool. So yeah, that's all I have really.
Let me just say one thing. We don't have to get into this. Holiday sets are out right now.
I know, so early.
Crazy.
It's not even October 1st.
It's September. So don't wait. There's a lot of sets out and they won't make it to holiday time. So I think it's crazy early, but don't wait.
Holidays
Go check it.
So great. In all retailers too.
Yeah.
Nordstrom, Sephora, all retailers, holiday sets are out.
So, I mean, even if it's not for gifts, they're good for yourself.
Yeah, seriously. That's true.
Yeah.
Good point. Good call.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that about wraps it up. I think we did a good job of really giving you guys the pros and cons of working in the industry. We do really love it. Mm-hmm. It really is fun. I don't think I would choose a different
That's why we have a
career.
podcast about it.
Literally. But before we leave you, please make sure to follow us on IG. We have a new page just for our podcast. It is Inside the Makeup Bag _. Please go follow us if you aren't already. And then if you want to follow me and Jessica's personal page, again, I am Alex JM, ALIXJM.
And I am Jess Canz, JESSCANZ.
And if you have any questions, of course, comment, like, subscribe, all of those things. Or you can always DM us on our Instagram, the Inside the Makeup Bag _ Instagram. any questions that you have, comments, suggestions.
Yeah, things you want to see, let us know.
Please. And again, make sure you are subscribed so that you get notified when we have a new episode. And we will be releasing episodes again every 2 weeks on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube.
Yes, and Apple. So we're excited.
Apple's
we never had
new.
Apple. So
Yeah.
if you're a real diehard fan, I mean, for the first 3 episodes, if you're a ride or die, we're on Apple now too. So,
And I do want to mention that we will be having guest speakers soon. Hopefully next episode, not 100% sure, but we will be having guests to shoot the shit with us. So we love you guys. Thank you.
Thank you for listening.
And just remember, you can always return the product within 30 days. Bye.
Let's zip it up.
Zip.